Welcome to Politics Roundtable on your darling TV station, Nigerian Pilot TV. I am your host, Emmanuel Obiswe. On today's edition, we'll be showing you a clip from our exclusive interview with the Managing Director and Chief Executive of Galaxy Backbone Limited. Now, the Galaxy Backbone Limited is the federal government's sole institution that is responsible for securing data of the country as the government service provider. The Managing Director, Professor Mohammed Bello Abubakar, he spoke to us on issues bordering on the social media bill that is still pending before the National Assembly. He also spoke to us about cyber theft, of course, which is a big issue, a big worry in the country. Recall that during the heat of the NSAS protest, we had some, will I say, IT-inclined Nigerians hacking into the website of government agencies. Okay, so he spoke to us about the efforts of the federal government as per how they intend to curb these excesses on the country's cyberspace. Below are excerpts from our interview with Professor Mohammed Bello Abubakar. Enjoy.
I'm Mohammed Bello Abubakar and the present Managing Director and CEO of Galaxy Backbone Limited. Galaxy Backbone Limited is a government-owned company. It is supposed to be a service provider. Actually, to be specific, it is supposed to operate an IP-based network, but it's supposed to provide network connectivity to the MDS, that is the Ministries, Department and Agencies, and as well as it is tasked to provide what we call it transversal applications, okay, to the MDS. If you said transversal applications, you have to think of applications that can be used by 2 and above MDS. Okay, so multiple MDS that can be able to use that particular application. If you so wish, you can give some examples. For example, the IPs is being used across all the MDAs. The GIFMIS is being used across all the MDAs, and that is the transversal applications. So we are government owned, and specifically we have a mandate to fast track on the e-governance, okay, of the government. So fundamentally, it's supposed to provide platforms that will make it possible for the government to operate in an e-format, that is using ICT, and of course facilitate also the digital economy, okay, of the country. So this is what Galaxy Backbone specifically is created to do. The service provides services. We have multiple services actually that we have been providing mainly to the government. For example, the .gov.ng platform is a kind of a shared platform where all the government agencies are actually somehow operating on a one-stop shop, okay, for all government activities. So providing emails, especially, you will see multiple emails that are customized emails to government agencies. We say .gov.ng.
Yes.
Okay. So giving that particular kind of, apart from also data that is co-location of co-locate data with NDS, okay, providing storage, and fundamentally we also, together with providing the storage, we try to provide storage for the data as well as the security that needs to be provided to protect the government data. So, and this is in fact one of the major key, and that is why government has even come up with the Galaxy Backbone as it is, because it needs to protect its own data. So data sovereignty is very key. And in fact, that is one of the most fundamental things we're doing.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prof.
Yeah.
You just shed some light on the kind of your database. I'd like to know specifically what kind of database does Galaxy Backbone build? And I understand that Galaxy Backbone is still new and fresh. And so I know how strong is your database.
Well, it's very interesting to say that we even having this interview in one of our the data center of the Galaxy Backbone. Of course, my office is not here for now. We are now having the interview in what we refer to as the NSSC Center or NIC. The C.
That's the National Shared Service Center.
National Shared Service Center. So this particular data center is built to be a Tier 3 data center. Okay, and almost I have to say, you can even say it is almost the only one. Okay, in Africa, okay, the way it has been somehow built, apart from another Tier 3 data center that is in South Africa. So this is specifically designed as a Tier 3 data center, and the next question, you said what again? Can I remember the question?
Yes, I asked how the kind of database you keep and how strong it is.
Kind of database you build.
Well, when we say we are dealing with a Tier 3 data center, you know what it means in the way. You have to put all the standards that needs to be put. You have to provide for the power. You have to provide all necessary things that will make now the data center to answer that particular Tier 3 name. So we have put in place everything that will make sure that the data you have located in this place is fully secured. Okay, so and that is the fundamental thing. It's purely secured. So you don't have any problem with having your data in our data center.
Thank you, Prof. I would like to ask you, what are the challenges the Galaxy Backbone faces in Nigeria, knowing that ICT is growing here in this part of the country, in this part of the world, rather? What are your basic challenges?
Well, I think first challenge, I will talk of the funding,
Okay.
which is very important. If I can give you some statistics of what happened going back to maybe 2010, okay, in the United Arab Emirates. As far back as 2010, the government of UAE spent a total of $4.4 billion on providing ICT connectivities, the same way Galaxy is supposed to have provided for the country. And I have to tell you that from the inception of GBB to date, we are not up to 10% of that amount of money. Okay, so you can see, and also if you look at the population of UAE compared to our own population, and you look at also the land mass of UAE compared to our own, so we truly are supposed to have for much more in terms of funding. Are supposed to have even much more funds compared to the UAE to be able to cater for the land mass that we have in Nigeria here as well as the population. But yet, as I said, UAE spent a total of about $4.4 billion in only 2010. We don't know as it is not for now. So that is one. The other thing is also related to the funding, because that is what will also bear on the issue of the infrastructure. That is the other component. That is the infrastructure of GBV. Although magnanimously the government has approved also what we refer to as the NICTIV 2 project recently. The National Assembly has also given their own approval, and then subsequently we're going to have now further deployment of our infrastructure. But the infrastructure we have at present, most of it, in terms of the backbone, is the infrastructure that covers from about 6 states, I think, starting from Lagos, going through to Enugu, then that's Onitsha. It branched to cross to Akwa Ibom rivers, then it came through to Benue State, Makodi, and then Nasarawa State, then here, Abuja. So this is where we have our backbone presence. And then, of course, within Abuja here, we also have our backbone presence all over. That is in what we refer to as the metro backbone within Abuja. So we can be able to cater for MDAs and all other organizations that are within Abuja. Okay, we can be able to reach out. So, but the other places, okay,
Yes,
if you are going now into the hinterland, we do not have now this backbone presence, and it's the one I'm talking about. That recently we have approval from the government to extend to the hinterland from here to Jos, to Gombe, to Bauchi, Gombe, Yobe, Maiduguri. You will also have another one from here to Kaduna, Kano, as well as to Sokoto, and then going back to Ilorin, now back to Lagos, so that you will have a complete redundancy line. So by the time we have that one, I will say that to some extent we have built enough infrastructure, but at present we still have the challenges of the infrastructure for it to make it possible for us to cover everywhere.
Okay, thank you so much, Doc. We'll move to the next question. During in the heat of the NSAS protest,
Yes.
I don't know if you were aware, we had instances where some fraudulent persons hacked into government database, the NBC and some other government sites. So my question is, how does government, through the Galaxy backbone, intend to court cases of to fight the cases of Nigerians who use the internet space to extort, to commit fraudulent acts? How would government ensure that this database are safe from these miscreants? What machineries they have in place?
Well, fundamentally, first, you know that the government has an act on the cybercrime, okay, which is championed by the Office of the Security Advisor, okay, of the country. Is trying to track on that. But in our own, when we come to Galaxy, our specific concentration is on the data security. Okay, so you're talking of cybercrime, and then you're talking of cyber security.
Yes.
So the cyber security is preventive. It's trying to put in things in place that will make it difficult for any person, okay, to somehow penetrate into this and commit a crime.
Yeah,
So that is the security.
Yes.
Okay, so and that is, if you remember when I was talking about the Galaxy backbone, and I said one of the reasons why government created the Galaxy backbone is to provide sovereignty to the data. Okay, that means security to the data. So from the money we have been getting as revenue, okay, in Galaxy, I have to tell you that 60 to 70% of this money that we've been getting, we have been spending in providing security for the government data. Okay, so that is what we have been doing. And yes, there was these attacks on some of these government agencies, but in most of them, in fact all of them, all those ones that were attacked were not actually on the Galaxy platform. Okay, so they are the organizations that have not yet gotten into the Galaxy platform. In fact, it is one of the reasons why even recently the Federal Executive Council approved that and directed that all ministries, departments, and agencies have to make Galaxy their first point of contact as far as ICT projects are concerned. So because of the fact that they know in Galaxy it was created specifically to be able to provide this particular securities, okay, to the data. So that is
okay. We are aware that the federal government has approved for Galaxy Backbone to upgrade ICT infrastructures across its MDAs,
Yeah.
like you.
Yeah.
So is the project on course already? How soon is that going to be done?
We are expecting that early next year we'll be able to start doing that particular project. And you see, earlier I told you that one of our own challenges is the issue of the infrastructure. In terms of coverage, that was what I've discussed earlier. In terms of coverage, and also in terms of age, we also have some challenges here. Normally, ICT infrastructure, especially the backbone, what have you, is supposed to, the lifespan, okay, for you to now change again, and optimize, the lifetime, the lifespan is usually 5 years. But most of the infrastructure we're using presently actually are about 13 years old. Okay, and that is what informed the government decision to provide for the upgrade of those infrastructure. So I believe by the time we've started to deploy on this, the services are going to improve so much drastically across the MDS.
How do you intend to help public agencies? Because you're basically a government
organization.
body.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So how about other public
Okay, that is
institutions or
private organizations.
Yes, private organizations.
Yeah, private organizations specifically. Our mandate actually is robust. We're supposed to look into also providing for the enterprise, particularly private sector. If you look just across here, you have Touch Bank there. We are giving services to the Touch Bank. Okay, we are also giving services to Jais banks. There are also other private organizations. I'm just giving you an example.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so which we have been giving services to. But specifically when I assume office here, we have now come up with a kind of we've reorganized the organization as it is and came up with a particular unit that is supposed to concentrate on the private sector, and that is what we refer to as the Enterprise Business Group. Okay, so the Enterprise Business Group, that is EBG, okay, so has started actually its activities, and I believe by 2021 toward the end we will start to see or have the feeling of what this particular group is going to do as far as extending services to the private sector is concerned.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Okay. Lastly, Prof, we're going to delve a little from what we've been talking about on social media bill. That's generating a lot of controversies. I know it's a very sensitive issue at the moment. But I would like to know, you are on the side of the government. Do you think the government's attempt to monitor and to an extent control the country's social media space, does it amount to prevention of freedom of speech?
All what we have been hearing are just rumors about the bill. Okay, you say, okay, I want to do, the government has submitted a bill, this and then without understanding what are the contents of the bill, then you start to have kind of whatever from everywhere that this bill is here to do this, is to do that, to do that.
Yes, the part that generated the controversy initially, but I think that has been taken out, was the death penalty initially for hate speech.
Well. You see, the issue of either when you're talking of death penalty and what have you, I don't think can be related to the issue of the freedom of speech. the freedom of everybody is not supposed to also have impact on the privacy of another person. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I believe what we're supposed to be looking at is we need the bill. But then we look at the bill in such a way that at the end of the day, it will come out in such a way that it will enhance freedom of speech and yet also provide security for privacy of people. That is just what we need. We need the bill because it is the one that will facilitate whatever we are doing in terms of facilitating the freedom of speech as well as also privacy of individuals. So I think what matters is the content.
Yes.
Okay? What matters is the content of the bill. If there is a bill, this so content has been put in, then of course that is why if you are put in a bill in the National Assembly, it has to go around, all the stakeholders have to come and look at it, make their contribution, do that. It will be open to public kind of hearing, and then you'll do all the necessary things, nitty-gritties of it, and then so that at the end of the day, the bill will not be counterproductive. It is supposed to be productive, not counterproductive. So it is not in the name itself. It's in the contents. And I believe the content will be open to everybody. And then we'll look into it and then see the best way the bill can now somehow.
All right. Thank you, viewers, for watching. We do hope you enjoyed our very, very elaborate and explicit interview with Professor Muhammad Bello Abubakar, the Managing Director and Chief Executive of Galaxy Backbone Limited. We want to thank you so much for staying tuned. This is your darling program, Politics Roundtable. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to join us next week for another edition. I remain your host, Emmanuel Obiswe. Have a good day.
As events unfold around us,
we give you information
in Nigeria and around the world.
We are the pilot of good information.
We are Pilot TV,
connecting you to more information
as it breaks.
We are Nigerian Pilot TV.
We are Pilot TV,
connecting you to the world.